Is your team headed for self-destruction? Do you have written guidelines? Have you thought about how your team interacts with an experient or client? Every member of your team needs to have written guidelines on how to conduct themselves and what is expected of them. Let's dive into some of these and discuss them and see why they are so important. The core principles that you need to be concerned with are, first off, honesty and integrity. If you're not honest with your clients and truthful at all times, then you're going to get caught in a lie. You're not going to be known for honesty and integrity. And you've got to present findings that are accurate, even if they don't confirm paranormal activity. Avoid fabricating or exaggerating evidence. Clearly distinguish between personal opinions, speculation, and substantiated claims. Respect for your experience or clients. Treat experient with compassion and understanding, recognizing their potential anxieties. Do you have a team member of the same sex as the experient? Maintain confidentiality and privacy, especially regarding personal information and experiences. Do you have a written policy on your confidentiality or how you handle and take care of a client information? Are your team members rushing home to post their own videos and evidence to social media? I had that happen once. We had a client that did not want their information put out in public. They did not want us to publish it in any way. And we had a team member that went home and published the findings or whatever they captured and revealed everything on their social media. We caught a little flack for that. Since then, our team has never, ever posted any information of any kind on a social network regarding a client's investigation. Even though we may have secured video and photography releases and releases to release information and to share information, we try to secure those with each and every client. We just try not to release it. The purpose of our collecting information is to share it with other teams, to share it for education, and to share it for training. So those are the reasons we share information. We're not out to build a name for ourselves. We're not out to outdo anybody. We are just doing investigations, learning what needs to be done, and trying to do it in a way that we have no question about our honesty, our integrity, or our respect for our clients and experience. Informed consent. Clearly explain the investigation process and potential outcomes to the client. Now, my team has a written investigative process document that we issue to our clients to give them insight into how we start from our intake, how we proceed through each step of the investigation, how we get to the reveal, and what we do with the information at the end of the investigation, and how they get a copy of everything we've done. Do you have an investigative process document? You should have, because otherwise you're liable to forget to mention something to somebody and they may question you about it later. You may not get into a lot of difficulty with it, but if you have a written document you can issue to every client, then there's never any questions. Part of your client's package or packet that you give your client. When you give them the intake, you can give them the investigative process, the whole shooting match. That makes you look very professional and makes you help you establish a good reputation for your team. How do you ask your experient what they expect as an outcome from your investigation? On our intake form, we ask our clients or experienced to tell us what they expect our investigation to conclude, how they expect it to conclude, how they want it to end, and what they expect to see as results. So we can measure ourselves against that document then and say, hey, we either met it or we did not. If we did not, well, then why didn't we meet it? We can get back and work on it some more till we get to a point where our client is satisfied. That way, we always know if our client's truly satisfied or not. How else are you going to know if you don't have a way to measure? Obtain written permission before conducting any investigation on private property, especially public property. You don't necessarily need permissions of any kind, really. Some places do require that you have some different kinds of permits and stuff. Some of the state places have us, we have to get a permit for our video. We have to get a permit for our drone. So you might want to look into some of the public places, make sure you are in compliance with all their guidelines and their requests. Obtain written permission before conducting an investigation on the private property. Do you have a photographic release from your client or experient? Do you have a release to investigate? Who is liable for any damage? Who is liable for any injuries? Are all those spelled out in your documents as to who is responsible for what? Minimize harm. Avoid methods that could cause physical or psychological distress. Don't provoke activity or escalate situations, particularly if the experient seems distressed. The experient will have to endure whatever you stir up during the investigation. So if you are antagonizing a entity, the experient may suffer because of your activity. So don't cause any of these potential areas of harm to your client or experient. If potentially harmful entities are suspected, prioritize safety and consider referring the case to a more experienced professional than yourself. Do you have safety procedures that you follow regularly? If you don't have procedures that you follow, like you're grounding or you're saying a little prayer before you start, or, at the end, if telling things that they are not allowed to go home with you and things, any of these safety procedures, then why don't you have those in place? Are you not concerned about your team? Are you not concerned about yourself? So we need to be sure that those are in place. Do you have a team to refer cases to if you feel like that you might not have a qualified person that can handle the outcome of what this client wants? Do you have a printed referral document? Does it have a list of exorcists on it? Does it have a list of mental health care referrals? Does it have a list of any other referrals that you might want to have that you refer your clients to? You might want to refer them to different types of information that they could go, or different types of research they can do. So it would be helpful for you to provide your client or experient with a referral document. Consider making one. Cultural sensitivity. Be mindful of different beliefs and traditions surrounding the paranormal and avoid disrespectful or exploitative practices. Different faiths, different ethnic groups are going to have different, different ways they understand things in their life cycle that are different than yours. Hopefully you have somebody on your team that might be of that faith or of that ethnic group, so they can give you some insight on things so you don't step on somebody's feet or hurt somebody's feelings unintentionally. And if you do, certainly you want to apologize. Additional considerations: conducting yourself in a professional manner and avoid inappropriate personal comments or actions. You also want to avoid cursing. I mean, the tongue and the word is very powerful, and you can make an impression, and maybe not a good impression, if you are too loose with your tongue. If you're not in control of your tongue, then your tongue is in control of you. Acknowledge the limits of your knowledge and expertise, and don't make claims outside your scope. It's all right to say, I don't know. If you don't know, say, I don't know. I'll find out. It's not commonly known, or there are different beliefs. Some people believe this, some people believe this, and tell your client a little bit about why people have these beliefs and that they can form their own conclusion. Scientific approach. Use critical thinking to strive for objectivity in your analysis. Document evidence thoroughly and consider alternative explanations for unusual finding. Be transparent about your methods and limitations of paranormal investigation techniques. Be open with your client with the tools you use, what the results are that these tools tell you. And when you're going through your review, you can also represent some of this information or find out if your client still has questions. Responsibility. If you uncover evidence of a non-paranormal cause, e.g., structural issues, mental health concerns, refer the experient to the appropriate professional. Again, this is part of your professional referral document. So if you have a plumbing company that you might refer to, or a structural engineering company that you might know of that you can refer your client to, these are things that might be helpful if they have some problems within their structure of their home or their residence or their business. Don't make promises or guarantees about your ability to resolve a situation. You might say, this is the goal of our investigation, is to help you resolve this situation. But we can't promise. We can't promise that they're even going to appear. There's no guarantee that ghosts don't act on command. And so there's no guarantee you're even going to catch anything at all. So how can you resolve something if there are no appearances made? Collaboration. Maintain open communication with other paranormal investigators to share knowledge and experiences. We can collaborate with other teams on the internet. There's a lot of this going on Facebook. A lot of teams are sharing information on YouTube with one another. We're doing a lot of sharing. So we're trying to collaborate with other teams and to learn more about different pieces of equipment, and especially pieces of equipment we may not have that we might like to get or that we might want to consider to get. So collaboration is pretty important. Why do ethics matter? Ethical conduct in paranormal investigations. It protects vulnerable individuals, people seeking help that might be emotionally distressed. Ethical investigators avoid exploiting them. So you don't want to become known as an exploiter. And you certainly want to have empathy and sympathy for those individuals that might be emotionally distressed. So, if you have activity in your home that you don't understand and things going on, you're certainly going to have some emotional distress. There's no question about it. So, and you as an investigator of that emotional distress are supposed to not cause them more stress, but to help relieve their stress. You want to build trust within the field. Ethical behavior combats negative stereotypes about paranormal investigation and prompts credibility. A lot of the teams these days, and a lot of us suffer from what experiences that people have had with other teams because they have not been ethical, they have not built trust. And so there is a negative stereotype about paranormal investigators as a whole. And we want to try to improve that. And the only way we can improve it is by, trying to work in ethical ways and improve our procedures to where we, as a team, know what to do, when to do it, and how we're going to proceed. Maintain respect for the locations and people involved. It doesn't matter whether it's a historic site, an individual home, or a business. They should be treated with care and with more care than you would treat your own residence or your own business, because you're going to be observed and people are going to notice how you are treating and respecting their property. And you want to be known as someone that does that. You want your reputation to show that you are that type of person. Many paranormal investigative groups have their own detailed codes of ethics. Our group does, and ours is published. If you'd like a copy of ours, be happy to share it with you. Here are some additional resources that you might want to look at. One is ethical guidelines for the investigation of haunted experiences that is published, that I have a copy of that I can share with you. One is the Code of Ethics relating to paranormal and ghosts from September of 2022 from Brighton and Hove Museums. That is a museum group that has talked about how their organization views their ethics regarding the paranormal and ghosts, and perhaps it's a guideline for you to use for your own group. The Ethics of Belief in Paranormal Phenomena from the Journal of Anomalous Experience. And I have a copy of that I can share with you. And I will try to provide links in information with our video so that you could go to these sites and develop your own code of ethics for your own group. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, you can email me at houstonghost@gmail.com, which is in our links down below. You can also call me on the phone, which is on our Facebook page. You can call the numbers that are listed there. We'll get back with you. Or you can message us on Facebook. If you have any other comments or anything, or you like us, please subscribe to our channel. And I hope that we can help you be a better team. I know that in presenting this information, we're doing it to train our people, and we might as well share it with other groups. So I hope you find this information helpful. And if you do, subscribe, like our page. Thank you.